Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive into Tessa White's book, The Unspoken Truths for Career Success.
Oh, this is going to be good. I love this book.
It's full of such great advice, no matter where you are in your career.
Totally agree.
So we're talking about everything from how to spot a toxic workplace.
Before you even take the job, right?
Exactly. To negotiation tactics beyond salary, to how to turn your accomplishments into leverage for a raise.
I mean, who doesn't want to learn that?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so first up, let's talk toxic workplaces.
Okay.
I was really surprised by this. White actually says that leaving a job before you've been there a year might be the best thing to do.
Yeah.
If the environment is truly toxic, you know?
I think she's so right.
Like, it really flips the script on that old advice to just, tough it out for a year no matter what.
It's so important to prioritize your mental health over some arbitrary timeline.
I know.
So how do you spot those red flags during the interview process?
That's the million-dollar question.
Well, White gives a bunch of, sneaky little things to watch out for.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Like, for example, if a company never seems to promote from within,
Oh, interesting.
that's a bad sign.
Why is that?
Well, it kind of tells you that they expect high turnover and they aren't really invested in, helping their employees grow.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a company that, values its employees, that's a major red flag.
Okay, what else?
Okay, this one is crazy. She says to pay really close attention to how they treat people who are leaving the company.
What do you mean?
Like, if you see someone being escorted out,
Oh, wow.
yeah, run.
Like, that's a sign of a really bad culture.
Total lack of trust.
Yeah.
And you're probably not going to feel very valued in a place like that, right?
No, definitely not. Okay, anything else?
Oh, yeah. She also talks about that us versus them mentality that can happen between departments.
Oh, I've totally seen that in past jobs. It makes it almost impossible to collaborate.
Right. And that kind of environment just kills innovation. If you want to be at a company that's, moving forward, look for teams that actually work together.
That's such a good point.
And high CEO turnover. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a sign of instability.
Totally. Like, how are you supposed to build a career if the leadership is constantly changing?
And then finally, she talks about companies that just blame lower-level employees instead of actually trying to fix the bigger problems.
Right. Blame shifting. Never a good sign.
No, it means the leadership isn't taking responsibility.
Exactly. So basically, if you're seeing these red flags during your interviews, even if the job sounds amazing on paper,
Yeah.
White says you should seriously think twice
It's all about trusting your gut.
and prioritizing your long-term career goals.
Okay, so let's say you do end up in a toxic workplace
It happens.
and you decide to leave.
Mm.
White has some really interesting advice on how to leave gracefully.
I think we could all use a little help with this.
Yeah.
It's so tempting to just ghost.
Especially for millennials and Gen Z.
Yeah, totally. But she really stresses the importance of actually talking to your manager before you quit.
Oh, I hate those conversations.
They are awkward.
Uh,
But, even if it's hard, it shows that you're mature.
and professional.
Yeah. It also gives the company a chance to fix things.
You never know, it could actually lead to some positive changes.
Right. Or even if you do end up leaving, at least you showed that you can communicate like an adult.
And it can strengthen your reputation.
Exactly.
I love how White gives such specific advice. He even gives you phrases to use.
Oh, like what?
It's like, is that what you intended? Or is there something going on I don't understand?
Those are good.
I know, because it opens up a dialogue without, being accusatory.
Right. It's all about understanding each other's perspective.
And even if you're leaving, she says you should try to get recommendations from colleagues.
I never thought about that, but that's smart.
Yeah, because it shows you can build good relationships.
Even in a difficult situation. And those recommendations will definitely help you get your next job.
Absolutely. And before you even start applying for new jobs, White says it's really important to sit down and think about what you actually want in a workplace.
Like, what are your non-negotiables?
Yeah, because it's so easy to just jump into the next opportunity without really thinking about what went wrong in the last one.
Right. You don't want to make the same mistakes. Think about what kind of company culture you thrive in.
And what kind of leadership style works best for you.
Exactly. Answering those questions will help you make much better decisions about your career.
Okay, so you found a company that seems like a good fit.
Yeah.
Now you have to nail that interview.
Okay, so presentation.
White has some really specific advice about this.
Oh, yeah, she's all about the details. You want to project a really polished, confident image.
But not over the top, right?
Right. It's not about overshadowing your qualifications with a flashy outfit or anything.
Right. It's about showing that you're professional and you pay attention to detail.
Exactly.
So she talks about things like having neat hair,
Hmm.
neutral nails,
Subtle makeup.
yeah, and like fresh breath.
Those little things can actually make a big difference.
They really do. And for in-person interviews, she says no fragrances.
Oh, yeah. Good point. You never know who might have allergies.
Right. And she has some great tips for virtual interviews, too.
Like what?
Like, make sure you have good lighting, a clean background, and a high-resolution camera.
It's all about making a good impression, even through a screen.
Exactly. And White believes that this kind of preparation doesn't just help you make a good first impression, it actually boosts your confidence, too.
Absolutely. When you feel good about how you look, you can relax and just focus on showing them how awesome you are.
Okay, so you've aced the interview. Now it's time for the best part. Negotiation.
Ooh, yes.
And this is where White's advice is pure gold.
Okay, tell me everything.
Okay, first of all, she says negotiation shouldn't just be about salary.
Oh, interesting. What else should it be about?
The whole compensation package,
So, benefits, vacation time, all of that.
all of it. And her number one tip is don't talk about salary until they give you an offer.
Why is that?
Because then you're negotiating from a position of strength.
They already want you.
Exactly. And did you know that in some places, it's actually illegal for companies to ask about your salary history?
Really?
Yeah. It levels the playing field.
Wow, I had no idea. Okay, so let's talk salary strategy.
Okay, so White says you should have 3 numbers in mind.
Yep.
Your wish number,
Okay.
which is like your ideal salary but still realistic.
Right.
Your want number, which is like a good outcome you'd be happy with.
Got it.
And then your walk number.
And that's your absolute bottom line.
Yes, the point where you walk away. And she says it's really important to do your research too.
These Glassdoor, things like that.
Yeah, know your worth.
Okay, this is what I'm really curious about. What are some things that people often overlook during negotiations?
Okay, this is a good one. Did you know that you can negotiate prorated bonuses even if you're a first-year employee?
I did not know that.
Yeah. And she also suggests negotiating bonuses that are tied to specific performance goals.
No, that's a good idea.
It shows that you're thinking like a partner, not just an employee.
It shows you're invested in the company's success.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about spotting toxic workplaces, leaving gracefully, nailing the interview, and now negotiating your compensation.
It's a lot.
It is. What stands out to you the most so far?
Honestly, I think White's emphasis on mental health is so important.
It's not just about climbing the ladder, it's about finding a job that actually makes you happy.
Exactly. And knowing your worth. Don't be afraid to ask for what you deserve.
I love that. And she gives such practical advice. This book is seriously a game changer.
It is.
Okay, so let's talk about something that I think a lot of people get nervous about, asking for a raise.
It can be intimidating.
It feels like such a taboo topic.
Yeah, like you're not supposed to talk about money.
Right. But the good news is, White says that, like, in today's job market, companies are actually more open to giving raises.
Really?
Yeah, they're trying to hold on to good people.
So it's a good time to ask.
Exactly. But we can't just, like, hope for the best.
No, we need a plan.
Right. So White gives 5 specific strategies for getting a raise.
Okay, I'm ready. What's number 1?
Be proactive. Like, don't wait for your manager to bring it up.
You have to initiate the conversation.
Exactly. It shows that you're, like, thinking about your future at the company.
And you're not afraid to advocate for yourself.
Yeah. Okay, strategy number 2.
Okay.
Think beyond just salary.
What do you mean?
Like, don't limit yourself to just asking for more money.
Yeah.
Think about the whole package.
So, like what?
Flexibility, vacation time, professional development opportunities.
Oh, those are all good things.
I know. Maybe you'd rather have an extra week of vacation than, like, a small bump in pay.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about figuring out what's important to you.
What's going to make you feel valued?
Exactly. Okay, strategy number 3, leverage.
Ooh, this is a good one.
What unique value do you bring to the company?
And how can you prove it?
Exactly. White talks about, like, positive leverage and negative leverage.
Negative leverage. What's that?
It's basically highlighting what the company would lose if you left.
Oh, I see.
Like, if you've been really instrumental in landing a big client.
Or if you streamlined a process and saved the company money.
Yeah, those are all examples of negative leverage.
It's not about being threatening. It's about reminding them how valuable you are.
Right. And this is where doing your research is so important.
Quantify your contributions.
Yes. Okay. Strategy number 4, timing and tact.
So, like, when is the best time to ask for a raise?
Well, White says you should try to align your request with the company's financial successes.
So if the company's doing well, that's a good time to ask.
Yeah, or right after you've had a big win yourself.
It shows that you're a team player.
Okay, and the final strategy, negotiate smart.
Be prepared to compromise.
Yeah, and be open to feedback.
It's not about demanding what you want. It's about finding a solution that works for everyone.
Exactly. So those are White's 5 strategies for getting a raise. What do you think?
I love them. They're so practical and actionable.
I know, right? And I think the biggest takeaway is to just be prepared.
Do your research, know your worth, and don't be afraid to ask.
And remember, it's not all about the money.
Right. Think about the whole package.
Flexibility, vacation time, professional development.
Whatever is going to make you happy and help you grow in your career.
Exactly. Now, it's important to remember that these strategies might not work in every situation.
Yeah, every company's different.
But even if you don't get the exact raise you were hoping for,
The process of preparing for these conversations is still really valuable.
I think so too. It helps you clarify your priorities.
And build confidence.
Exactly. Okay, so White's last section of the book is all about continuous learning and growth.
Because landing that dream job and getting a raise isn't the end of the story.
You're totally right. It's definitely not the end. It's more like, a rest stop on a much longer road trip.
Exactly. Tessa White, she spends this whole last part of the unspoken truths for career success really driving home the fact that learning and growth are, essential no matter what stage of your career you're in.
It's so true.
It's a constantly changing world out there.
I know.
The skills that are, super valuable today could be totally useless tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if we're not, constantly learning and adapting, we're going to get left behind.
So it's almost like we need to be lifelong students.
Right. Always be learning.
It's not enough to just get the job and then coast.
Nope. Got to keep leveling up.
We have to keep finding ways to, improve our skills.
Absolutely. So she talks about, taking advantage of any training that your company offers, going to industry conferences, maybe even getting more certifications or another degree.
It's all about investing in yourself.
It can feel like a lot, especially when we're already so busy.
Oh, I know. Between work and life, it's hard to find the time.
But White really makes the case that making time for professional development is, essential if you want to be successful in the long run.
And she says that learning doesn't have to be this formal thing.
Right.
It could be as simple as finding a mentor at work or, connecting with other people in your field.
Networking.
Yeah.
So important.
Honestly, even learning from our mistakes. It's not fun, but it's how we grow.
It's all about having that growth mindset.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing challenges as setbacks, see them as opportunities to learn and become more resilient.
That is such a great point.
I think that's so important for our listeners.
This whole book has just been full of so much amazing advice. But that idea of continuous learning and growth, it's one of the biggest takeaways for me.
It's really about taking control of your own career.
Yeah.
And understanding that success is a journey.
Not a destination.
Exactly. The unspoken truths for career success, it doesn't just give you the tools to deal with the job market right now.
Right.
It gives you the tools to thrive for your entire career.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a question.
Okay.
Think about all the things we've talked about today.
Yeah.
What's one thing you can do right now to move your career forward?
Maybe update your resume, look for some professional development opportunities.
Yeah, maybe reach out to a potential mentor.
That's a good one.
Just take action.
Don't let this information just sit there.
Use it to make a change. And remember, you got this.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
We'll see you next time.